Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a great privilege to be here with you, a great enjoyment. I'm very happy to be here. Very happy to be with you. Like I say every week, I'm still Dr. Arnold Nerenberg, licensed clinical psychologist. I've been licensed in the state of California since 1974. I've been in practice over 50 years now. I also bring to you my experiences as a human being of over 83 years of walking upon this earth. I'm happy to still be here. Staying alive becomes a full-time job, and that's been a hobby also. So I'm going to dedicate today's presentation to my beloved brother, Joe Apolito. As I came up and talking with him, I came up with some of these ideas. I said, Joe, I'm going to do this and dedicate it to you. This is for you, Joe. The title of today's presentation is The Deadly Triad. The Deadly Triad, the people who cannot be helped. Now, as soon as I say that, everybody think, oh, I know somebody like that. That can't be helped. Well, unfortunately, some of you might not be helped. If you're one of those persons, not just whether other people are like that. Now the people that I know that come to me for help, beautiful, wonderful human beings. These are people who are sincere and want to make something of their lives. Not an issue. But, these are people who want to be helped. What a great privilege to know these wonderful people, beautiful human beings, magnificent. And most of you know somebody who's like that when I tell you about the Deadly Triad. Let me say first the 4 commandments of honor. I call the 4 commands of honor. It's also called the 4 principles of honor. I wish you well. I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality and my problems. That one's very key to our talk today. I'm grateful for the power I gain from hardship. And then one of 2 depends whether you believe in God or not. If you believe in God as I do, God, your wish is my only wish. If you don't believe in God or wish to address God, it's I seek always to serve my highest values. My intention is to start all our talks with that to remind everybody what the 4 commandments of honor and the bridge. What's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? So those of us who are following the way of honor, we're not looking for happiness anymore. We're looking for honor, which is the foundation of true happiness. So the idea is to say the 4 commands of honor and the bridge 3 times a day, because the repetition is preparation for application to achieve internalization and stabilization. I can make a little song out of that one. Then, we're going to do it 3 times a day for life. That's how you get the most benefit. You'll keep growing and benefiting all the days of your life. So I'm not just interested in helping you now. I want to give you knowledge and understanding that will help you the rest of your life and be able to pass that on to your loved ones. That's truly my intention, and that's what this can do for you. So let me tell you the first of the Deadly Triad. There are people, and I know you know people like this. Absolutely. You can think of somebody right away. People who cannot take responsibility for what they do. It's not their fault. They didn't make the problem. They didn't add to the problem. So when people cannot take responsibility for at least co-creating their problem, then whose fault is what it is? Well, they're going to be blaming. They're going to say, you did this to me. It's your fault. And then when they go to blaming, they're going to be angry. Why are they angry? Because they're always a victim. That person's always a victim. They're perfect. No responsibility for creating it or even adding fuel to the fire or co-creating it. So that person's going to be pretty ticked at you because they're a victim. It's whatever they're angry about with you. I'm sure it's not the first time. In fact, you keep repeating the same thing because every time something comes up, you're the offender. We found the problem, and lo and behold, it is you. That's what these people come up with. And they'll have all their rationalizations for it. or even distort the stories. That will happen, I guarantee you. Starting to ring any bells? Now, that's not the full deadly triad, but that's one of the big legs of this thing. Very hard to help those people, for those people to grow, even just on their own, just growing. It's very hard. But let me tell you a second one that puts another nail in their coffin. They cannot trust the word of another person. You can say, I didn't say that, or I didn't mean that. Yes, you did. I didn't have that feeling. That wasn't my intention. Yes, you did. You were trying to hurt me. You were trying to get revenge. You were doing X, Y, and Z. And you say, honestly, I'm not just covering up. I didn't say that, or I didn't do that. Yes, you did. They don't believe your word. Or you heard me wrong. I honestly didn't say that. Yes, that's exactly what you said. Don't lie. That's exactly what you said. You're just trying to cover up. That's exactly what you said. They don't trust your word. Failure to trust. Failure to trust. So now look how locked in. One, whatever's happening is your fault. They have no responsibility in it. You're to blame. They're angry at you. And then you try to tell them what reality is. You're not just lying to them. They don't believe you. Now they're really locked in. If they were following the way of honor, they would seek to take full responsibility for co-creating their reality and their problem. If they're not following that way, they're just not going to do it. So they're locked in. No responsibility. Don't trust your word. The third is a degree of arrogance. Arrogant. So not only don't they take responsibility or trust your word, their thoughts defines reality. Whatever they think happened, that's what defines reality. Not what really happened, not reality defines reality. What their thoughts define reality. So whatever rationalizations, distortions, whatever's going on, that's real. What you had to say, false. They have no responsibility in it. So this is the deadly triad. It's part of being narcissistic, but it's not the full definition of being narcissistic. This does not define narcissism. Narcissism, it's part of it. Narcissist is you only exist in this world to serve my needs. A narcissist, you only exist in the world to serve my needs. This person may or may not be a narcissist. I just termed it the deadly triad when I was talking to Joe. That's when I defined it. Now, there could be some cultural influences. Some cultures are more prone to that. And it develops early in life. It's not an adult onset issue. And these people will seek to confirm that you can't trust people. So what's happened to them, or even if they see a movie, they hear a story, aha, see, you can't trust anyone. So that'd be part of the thing, failure to trust. You can't trust. So they seek to confirm that that's how things are with people. Now, let me tell you about them. You can have a beautiful time. There might even be a great deal of love between the two of you. You won't notice this until you have a problem. Something comes up. You hit a rough spot. You hit a rough spot in the relationship. Comes out full blown. Then you're going to see it. You might have known the person 45 years. Never saw it because you're always having a good time. Then something comes up, and then you're going to see something that will shock you, where you had no idea that that's how the other side in that person. No idea. There wasn't even an inkling that it was there, because that person can be very loving, very giving in so many ways, bend over backwards to help you, but you hit this one. It's your fault. You're to blame. What you're saying is not true. And their thoughts define reality. I know each one of you is thinking of somebody when I've just told you these symptoms. Now, how do you deal with them? So you might say, well, I'm going to draw a boundary. I was going to put this person out of my life. Well, that's one way. On the other hand, you might love the person so much and feel so loved you just don't want to do that. Or you have business arrangements and you don't want to end the business connection. Or whatever the situation is, you're not going to end it. Well, also know you're never going to win an argument with this person. So just know that. That could be a good thing for you because you can grow a lot in this relationship. You in that relationship can grow tremendously. They're not going to grow, but they're going to give you plenty of opportunities for your own self-growth. That's the beauty of these people. Because you'll never be able to overpower them. You'll never win an argument, but they're going to give you so much opportunity to apply the commands of honor and heightening your self-awareness and see what you can do to change yourself. But what you can do, and just keep in mind, for a truly meaningful life, there has to be three dimensions to it. Love deeply, suffer deeply, arise honorably. Love deeply, suffer deeply, arise honorably. Be a very meaningful life. You're going to suffer with this person. You will suffer. There's no escaping it. But through suffering, you'll develop wisdom. It's impossible to achieve wisdom without suffering. Impossible. You want to be able to develop a constructive, what is wisdom? Wisdom is integrating your joys and your sorrows, your gains and your losses into a constructive perspective. So you want to be able to tell yourself the best true story about your relationship with that person. You can have a lot of bad stories, you're going to suffer. It's going to be difficult. But you're going to see a lot of growth in you that's going to help you not only deal with that person, but deal with the world and make you a better human being. Again, one option is getting out of that relationship. And if you're staying in it, this is the benefit. To deal with it, you want to be repeating to yourself, I wish you well. You're repeating the command, I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality and my problem. So you want to see how you've perhaps added to the issue. And believe me, there's a way that you've added to it. 99% of the time. So you're able to at least find what you're doing. You can even apologize for your part of it. That person will never apologize. If you love the person, you can say, I wish you well and I love you so much. You're thinking those thoughts. So you're telling yourself the best true story about it. I wish you well. I love you. I take responsibility for how I co-create this. The commands of honor will help you in dealing with this in a really constructive manner. So there you have it. The deadly triad of people who cannot be helped. And they're not necessarily bad people. You can have some really good people who are trapped in that. And then they pretty much can't help how they're responding. Pretty much can't help it. They become a victim of those dynamics. A victim of those dynamics. So you want to feel compassion for them. They're trapped. Well, it's my pleasure to present to you the deadly triad, the people who cannot be helped. And I want to open it up to our wonderful group who attends the meetings, lovely, wonderful human beings. And keep in mind that when you speak up, asking questions or making comments, it's as helpful to the group, as helpful or more helpful than what I even say, because people feel less alone and part of a community.
Do you consider these people to have a personality disorder?
So he's asking me whether these people have a personality disorder. Well, this in itself does not define a personality disorder. If they're narcissistic, if they're full-blown narcissist, a narcissistic personality disorder, but it doesn't define any particular personality disorder. But it could be part of a narcissistic personality disorder, but doesn't define it at all. So labeling it with clinical terms won't do you any good anyway. I've already told you what you need to know about these dynamics and how to deal with it. So getting any other labels on it won't be of any help to you. Somebody say, oh, it sounds like a borderline personality disorder. It sounds like whatever. It's not going to help you in dealing with them. But good question, though. Very good question. So I'm opening up to our wonderful people. Just go ahead and ask me any question you want or make any comment you wish.
Hi, Dr. Nerenberg. It's Tracy.
Tracy, my dear, dear goddaughter. Good to hear. And we owe it to Tracy. We couldn't open up the Zoom, and Tracy got us in. Unbelievable. Thank you, Tracy.
No problem. So it's interesting that you brought, this is a topic, because yesterday there was an incident when I went over to my dad's house, but I was telling him about something, and of course he came back with like whatever, and I just stayed quiet, and I thought to myself, like, I forgive you for your pride. I forgive you for your ignorance, and I feel bad for in all honesty disabling my younger brother by not disciplining him.
Well, firstly, let me add one thing while you're saying this. People have this triad, the deadly triad. They do put pride before honor, because it's not an honorable way to be. They're putting pride before honor. When you follow the way of honor, you want to put honor before pride. But these people put pride before honor. Thank you for inspiring that thought in me. Please continue, Tracy.
That was pretty much it.
Okay.
It's you. I've told you stories, and so And
Tracy, when I was at your wedding, I met your dad. He is an alpha male. He has a powerful presence. You're not going to mess with him. You can't win an argument or fight against this guy. He just emanates that powerful guy. I could see it. Powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, but he's also,
There's a difficulty where he suffers from what that does to him, but
yeah,
that guy his pride is gigantic. His machoism is gigantic, but he's a very powerful presence. I just looked at him and I saw it. And I can't help but respect him, because male to male, you can't respect that kind of a male. But on the other hand, he's going to suffer. And anybody in close relationship with him is going to suffer. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's even for the good, because my thing is, his thing is if a child does something wrong, you don't discipline them, you reward them, or else they'll rebel against you. So you have to keep giving them what they want. And I'm like, no. And he's, it's kind of like, you don't have kids, but
reward and punishment. There has to be reward and punishment. There has to be respect. Right. And I know what you've tried to do for your younger brother. I saw your younger brother at the wedding. Very handsome guy. And I know you've tried to help raise him in your own way and discipline him or whatever. Might be a losing battle, but God bless you. God bless you. You give it a good try, and you don't give up. You're strong, Tracy. I'll tell you that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Thank you, Tracy. Yeah. Who else would like to make a comment, ask a question? Because keep in mind, people are going to benefit from what you say enormously.
Hi, Doc. I have something to say. This is Gabrielle.
Hey, Gabrielle. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. My question in terms of like what I'm struggling while I'm on my honor journey, in terms of like being honorable and my values and everything, has been like seeing how when speaking my truth, how other people, it's being met with dishonorable people that are lying about the things that they have done that were not. And I'm trying to navigate through that.
Well, when you're dealing with liars, they may not have the full deadly triad, but dealing with liars, that's a very serious spiritual, psychological flaw. And there are a lot of liars in the world, that's for sure. But you deal honorably with it. You confront it if you have to. You go to higher authorities when you have to. You wish them well, but you may have to sue them. Say, I wish you well, but I'm going to have to sue you. You know, if you have, or you document it, you take legal action any way you have to. You try to neutralize the damage, but if you're willing to lie in the business world, give you an edge over people who are honorable. Give you an edge. People, as long as people think money and power define success, it's not. A person can have a multi-billionaire with a lot of power, but if they don't have honor, that person's a loser, a failure. So the people who use that as part of the way to succeed, to gain power or prestige or money, they're losers. And no matter how powerful they get, no matter how much money they achieve, they're losers. And you want to have compassion for them. You want to wish them well, and then do everything you can to help neutralize that for your sake, for their sake, and to try to stop them from so they don't do it to other people. And if you're able to do that, that's noble. You're not just doing it for you, you're doing it to help them overcome that problem. And you're doing it so other people won't have to suffer what you're going through. That's the honorable thing on your end. But you will suffer at the hands of those liars. You will suffer. Then you will rise honorably as you're doing.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome, Gabby. Very good to see you. Who else would like to ask a question, make a comment?
Hey, Dr. Nerenberg, it's Nina. How are you?
Hey, Nina. Good. Good to hear from you.
Good to hear from you too. Hey, so I was wondering, I don't know if this is a flaw with me or like if anyone else expects this, but if I don't hear someone say, I apologize or I'm sorry, like if I don't hear those words, I don't count it as an apology. Is this wrong, or does this like...
If you don't hear them apologize, but they show in some other way indirectly that they're sorry?
Yeah, like there's some remorse, but there's no like owning up to it directly.
You know, it's good if you could take the apology that they can give, but it's stronger if they can say, I'm sorry, or even go, hey, I apologize, I was wrong, you were right, please forgive me. That's really satisfying if somebody can give that to you. Most people will never give that. I practice that statement regularly, so I'm ready to give it. If it applies, I have opportunities to say those things. But, their pride is interfering with the full apology. And I understand why it's a little harder to accept, but to the extent you can see they're apologizing and realize that's the best they can do, that'll be good for you and the relationship. But I understand why it seems like not enough. I totally understand.
Okay, because sometimes I wonder if I'm like kind of asking too much, to hear it.
I think it's a good thing to hear, and it helps you let it go more. But very few people can give that.
Wow. Yeah.
And if they have the deadly triad, it's really bad. But if they just have that one, which is very common, people can't apologize. But if they give it to you indirectly, kind of give it to you sideways, if you can take that'll put you more at peace if you can accept it.
Yeah, totally.
Good point, right? I that's a very subtle point, a very good point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who else would like to ask a question or make a comment?
Dr. Nerenberg, Diego here.
Hey, Diego, good to see you.
Likewise. Thank you. I really like some of the things that you said really resonated with me because I actually checked some of those boxes when I was younger. And I noticed that I actually got some of those things from my mother. She's very much that way that you mentioned. And I changed a lot. I fixed some of those things.
Well, let me say this, Diego. Let me say something to you right now. You're amazing. Most people cannot escape that. Most people cannot escape that triad. The fact that you could see it, say, I was that way, I got it from my mom. You're amazing. Most people can never escape it. It's impossible for them. You're a miracle that you could do it. How'd you do it?
Thank you, doctor. Yeah, so
How did you get past it?
It was just really me raising the awareness and doing some inner soul searching that really led me to the path of correcting some of those ways and really understanding.
Hey, let me ask you this: did you suffer? Did it cause you to suffer a lot?
Yeah.
That what made
in relationships and friendships at work, in my entire life, really.
Now, hold on 1 second, Diego. I just want to point out to everybody: it causes enormous suffering, and the person trapped in this, enormous. And Di, you're here to testify to that. Is that correct?
Yeah. And I just want to share with the group that realistically, for me, the way that I saw the errors in my ways was witnessing firsthand how painful it was, seeing my mom going through that stuff, and then seeing the hurt that she was causing me, and just kind of putting myself in.
Now, did mom never came out of it?
No.
Now you're one in a million. People don't come out of that, but you suffered enough and long enough where you said, "Let me see what the heck I'm doing." And that's what it takes. It takes a lot of suffering for you to say, well, "What am I doing? Whatever I'm doing is not working." Bravo for you. Bravo, Diego. Much respect.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
People don't know this. That's a miracle story.
Thank you.
Did it have any spiritual component to it? You're overcoming it?
Oh yeah, for sure. It was just me seeing the pain that my mom was causing others, me particularly, and putting myself in her shoes and kind of saying, maybe that's what the pain that I'm causing other people with by being this way. And it just kind of led to the path of me correcting some of those actions. Wow,
Diego. I don't know if people realize how amazing you are. You probably don't know how amazing you are. People don't come out of this one. And you did.
Still work in progress, but definitely.
Yeah, but the fact that you could see it and talk about it in this way, because these people can't say what you said about yourself, they can't do that.
Thank you, doctor.
You're most welcome, Diego. Thank you. Well, it's been my pleasure to present to you the deadly triad, the people who cannot be helped. Thank you.
The sea of destiny is in your deepest struggle. God's will and mine be one, and I wish you well. You are co-creator, respectfully real. There's a way in the valley that turns weakness to steel. We're known through all eternity, from strife we gain power, clothed in grace and love, disciples of honor. All the days of our lives refuse the way of shame. We wish nobody harm, have no one to blame. Your high calling will be done, and pure eyes now glow. In darkness crave the good, like waters from the desert flow. I pledge my love all the days of my life. I pledge my soul to all that is good. I pledge my heart to my brothers and sisters, who I join in the light, leave a legacy of honor. We're known through all eternity. From strife we gain power, clothed in grace and love, disciples of honor. All the days of our lives refuse the way of shame. We wish nobody harm, have no one to blame. Your high calling will be done, and pure eyes now glow. In darkness crave the good, like waters from the desert flow.